He's just playing low. He's in his head. He's in his head. He's open. His head wide open. Cracked open his face.
Hey, what's going on guys? It is Mario Man 2100 back again with another update video type thing. I do actually have a list of stuff to do this time, so if I'm looking down at all, it's looking at the list of things. This is just here just so I don't get too sidetracked and go on tangents and shit like that. But that's bound to happen, but I think that having a list would actually be a little bit better, make this update video a bit more concise and a bit more structured, more than rapid fire and a bit all over the place. So ultimately you would have thought, I did an update last month, why would I need to do another one? Well, realistically, half of what I talked about last month was, you know, just the start of it all for this channel, for this year in particular, and of course the future years as well. So let's get to it. So still talking about first off my various LPs at the moment. So having like Sonic Heroes at the moment and Splatoon. Ultimately, I'm loving Splatoon. I've got to actually record some later today, on the Thursday, the 8th of February, when I'm recording this. I'm going to do that a little bit later, do at least another episode of that, because I really love playing Splatoon, and I thought that was a very fun game to pick. I think there was one other game that I was going to do. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was going to be. It was going to be, I think it was something Mario related, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment, to be completely honest, so that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, Sonic Heroes is still going. Some of you might be asking why there's no intro for that, and my next Sonic LP that is coming, this is more of an upcoming LP, a little whiles away, that won't have my intro. Both of those LPs don't have my intro because I recorded them back in 2015, I believe, maybe at the start of 2016. So I didn't have my intro back then, all done and ready and everything, so like, of course I didn't put it on because I rented all those episodes already. When it comes to Sonic Heroes though, I will eventually be doing the intro to it because I've only recorded half the LP at the moment. So the other half I'm going to record will have the intro in it, which is good. On that though, the reason why I haven't recorded the second half of that LP yet is because I haven't had a lot of time, because I really want to record a lot of it at one time. I don't want to record like I am with Splatoon at the moment, where it's like one episode per week or something like that. Like, I mean, it's a nice way of doing some games, but I feel like with Sonic Heroes at the moment, especially considering I haven't played the game since probably when I started recording that LP back in 2015, I believe. I haven't actually picked up that game and actually put some time into it, so ultimately that's a big it's kind of a big plus and big minus at the same time. Big plus that you know, I'm not going to get, you know, too worked up about the levels, even though the episode you would have seen today, at the time of this recording, it would have been out today, was me going absolutely ballistic in Power Plant. But I gotta say, ever since I first ever played the Sonic Heroes, the first time I ever played it, that was the hardest I've ever played that level since I think my first time actually playing that game. And yes, it's Team Dark, and Team Dark is technically the hard mode of the game. But even with Team Dark, even back when I was still first playing it and playing it again and again, I haven't had too many problems in that section, in that energy core sequence. And I think from memory, when I was editing it, I didn't want to show, because I think it was like 20 lost deaths and like a couple of game overs at that point. So I didn't want to show all of them. That's why I cut some of them out. So yeah, hopefully I don't go through that again with the second half of the Sonic Heroes, but at the same time, it might happen. And when it comes to the story content with all the other teams, before the last episode of the game, I want to actually do just a video of all the stories mixed all together, and I'll be recording them separately, and maybe do some post commentary over it. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do the scenes or just put post commentary on there, because I'm not going to speak during those sequences, because you know that's yes, that's what the LP is for, but at the same time, some of these cutscenes you probably would have already seen anyway. So there's that. So ultimately, Sonic Heroes still got a little while to go. I think it's got 14 episodes so far. So we're on episode 3 at the moment. So we're going to go for a little while. And I just thought I'd better bring up some questions as well. And Splatoon is still going pretty well, which is good. So special series at the moment. I'm doing a Super Smash Bros. Brawl anniversary series. You probably would have noticed that back in January. I did release that video a little bit early. So I'm going to be doing, like I said in that video, I'm going to be doing separate videos for each of the different anniversaries of Super Smash Bros. Brawl in all regions. So next one I believe is the US, which is in March sometime. I believe the 9th of March or something like that. I'm not sure which day that falls on, but I'm going to try and see if I can get it close enough. And then I think the next one is not until June, so I have plenty of time to record that, so we can get to that. Any other series I can't think of at the moment. I don't think I'm doing any other particular special series other than that one at the moment. So there's that. So I did want to go over some old series ideas, because I do actually want to go into some new series ideas, because I've got some written down. So ultimately, one of the old series that I had was Name the Tune. So basically it's like Name That Tune type videos that you've seen back in the day, probably on music websites and on YouTube with music YouTubers. And I was going to use the 3DS inbuilt sound channel and distort it with the instrumentals, so that you would have to guess which song it was. But ultimately with the new 3DS XL you can't do that. You have to take out the bottom to take out the micro SD card, and it's a bit of a hassle, and I don't have my old 3DS anymore. And the COD Red vs Blue idea, so basically I was going to do a series in general that was just based on Call of Duty, but it was going to be like in the style of Red vs Blue, just set in the Call of Duty universe. And that idea hasn't come to fruition, but I've wrote it down just in case if I ever want to use it for something else. So I still have it written down somewhere. Now let's go into new series. So ultimately, there's two that I do want to talk about, because I think they're the only two that I have at the moment. To the Arcade. So I don't know whether this is actually going to be the actual title of the thing, whether it's To the Arcade or Arcade Mode or something like that. But basically I'm just going to be playing arcade modes of games, mostly fighting games. Basically it's just going to be a fighting game focused series. It won't happen very often. It'd be like the first campaign impressions series at the moment, but more on that later. And I think the game that I want to start with first is play ARMS, because I haven't played ARMS for a while, and I know that the Grand Prix mode is technically like an arcade mode in that game, so ultimately I want to start it with that. And the other series that I want to do is Blast from the Past. So basically this is like any game that I've particularly grown up with, some that I've had in the past, say like off the top of my head, like Tekken Tag Tournament 1 or Sonic Unleashed for PS2 or games of that nature. Crash Bandicoot 2, just do a video on them, because I have a lot of games that I've played in my childhood and they don't get any recognition, and some of them might turn into Let's Plays eventually in that series. So it might be like Blast from the Past, like Crash Bandicoot 2 Part 2 or something like that, like, you know, like that type of thing. So that'll be nice to do that, because there's a lot of games that I want to catch up on that I haven't played for a while that I absolutely love and want to do videos for, because especially like Crash Bandicoot 2, I want to do a video on like the Burnout series, on some of the games that I really love from that series and that sort of thing. So ultimately that's a new idea that I wanted to do. So let's talk about countdowns and reviews, because I really want to get into that. First off, goddamn it, Sega. Like, literally the day before my Games of 2017 list was supposed to come out, because I had scheduled it the day before I had uploaded it. Later in the day I found out, oh, Europe has the actual album for Sonic Mania. When I said in the video, when I scripted it about 2-3 months ago, oh yeah, can Sega just released the Sonic Mania CD track on iTunes? Lo and behold, the day before I post it, like, it gets put on YouTube, it's up there. Like, goddamn it, Sega. Do you know when my videos are being made? Are you actually seeing stuff in my life? Seeing me scripting and stuff? Like, that was really, really weird. Like, it was really freaky, because it was just like, oh yeah, the day before the video goes out. I'm like, well, that just immediately dates it, doesn't it? So, yeah, we had that. That was always a problem. So realistically, I got some countdown lists coming up. I've got at least one fully scripted. I've probably got a couple of ideas coming in the future as well. And my impression review series is going really well. Still got a lot of games to get through in my scripts. I think the next one I do want to get done by this coming month, this February, and that's on Metroid Samus Returns, because I wanted to do the Metroid 2 Return of Samus game before my countdown list, because I was kind of like, do I talk about Metroid Samus Returns? And I'm like, wait, I should probably do an impression review after my countdown list and not really talk about it in the countdown list. So that's the next one. And that's fully scripted and everything. I just have to record my voice and do the editing and that sort of thing. So that's that's cemented. Impression reviews are absolutely fine, because I've got a lot of games that I've still got to put in that series, but at the same time I've scripted a lot of them that it's flowing. It's going to flow, which is good. So I did want to mention, I am thinking of doing a review marathon. Now, ultimately, no, it's not Pokemon, so I'm just wearing this hat because I want to, like wearing the Sonic cap for one of the last updates. I have one in the works. I don't want to say what it is at the moment, but I am aiming for it to start in September, and at the latest, late October, early November, because I don't want to go on too late with that. But I think it'll be a bit easier than the Pokemon review marathon, thank God. Even though I'm looking at more games this time, they're more on the same formulaic structure, so hopefully it won't be as bad as the last review marathon, because goddamn, Generation 4, like, that took a lot of effort, considering it was over an hour long. But yeah, so we got one of those in the works at the moment. I haven't really gone too deep into it yet. I haven't really recorded anything or scripted anything yet, so we're getting to that. And more reviews in general is something that I want to do for this year and the next couple of years as well, because they're fun. Maybe might do Sonic Generations again, I don't know. Eventually that review will get replaced and redone, so that'll happen. So I do want to mention, and this will probably date the video a little bit, even though I've said what the date is, the Super Bowl 52 Philadelphia Eagles and New England Patriots. I'm so happy that Philadelphia won, even though I don't go for them. I don't really go for a team in the NFL. If I was to go for any team, it's Seattle Seahawks, and that's only because I watch a lot of their games and really like their roster, especially over the last few years, like Marshawn Lynch being there before he retired and then came out of retirement to go to Oakland. Russell Wilson, people like that there. So, but I watch their games a lot, so realistically that's probably my team, but I don't know. But I'm so happy that Philly won. I preferred Philly way over Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. I was like, I don't want them to win again, because I usually go for, whenever it's a championship game, if there's an underdog or if there's someone that hasn't won, it's just like, can they have a turn, please? Can they just win so they have a turn, so they say that, yes, we've got one, and you can cross them off the list, say, okay, they haven't won one, now they have, now the next person along in the line. I always felt like that, but that's just me. And the last thing I want to talk about is first impressions and first campaign impressions videos. Ultimately, the first impressions series is absolutely fine. Still got videos for that coming, because I still got heaps of games. Like over there, that stack of that brown bag is full of games. Like you can see that Nintendo DSi on top of that. That's because the bag is filled with a lot of games in there. So when it comes to that, that's fine. I still got to record those though, but getting to that. But more so the first campaign impressions videos, because I haven't done one of those for a while. This video will be outdated, because I believe tomorrow, after this recording, I am doing that. I am putting the first campaign impressions video up after so long, and I'm not going to say what it is, because you probably know what it is already, but yeah, so I'm doing more of those. I need to get to Tekken 7, I need to get to a few other games, but we're still going to be flowing with this. So with all that said, this video is probably going on long enough. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this whole update video all the way through. Please leave a like if you want. I mean, that's just normal. That's just normal to do, I guess. Normal human function. But once again, enough of my rambling. This has been Mario Man 10100. You guys have a great day or night, and of course, take care.